All right, let's crack the code of this final phrase here. We just had a nice authentic cadence in G minor, so we're starting in G minor. Let's see what this phrase holds. So we get home. So we don't even need to do too much thinking about this because we've got our beautiful double bar line here. So we know that this one, the old key, is G minor, right? And our new key is the home key. Our new key is F, right? So we end on a nice authentic cadence in F there. This should be the easiest one to figure out in terms of keys when we're coming back to the home key. So let's see if we can delve into this and actually tell, though, where our modulation happens. So if we look, we don't actually have a ton of accidentals in this one, and that's going to be the case because we don't need accidentals in F major, right? We've got the key signature for that. So one of the ways that we can tell where we sort of leave the old key and enter into the new key is where the accidentals stop happening. And so we're in G minor. We've got this F sharp, which really clarifies, right? That G minor-y stuff because of the leading tone motion in the tenor part there. But then it goes away. And so what we want to be looking for is, where's our first dominant chord in F major? So what's our dominant in F major? Be thinking of that. What's 5 and what's 7? And really, you can be thinking of what the leading tone in F major is. We saw in the last phrase that it was really unique. We also sort of, instead of just finding the dominant, we noticed the note that was different between the two, E natural and E flat. And that's going to be the case here too, because G minor has E flat, F major has E natural because it's the leading tone, right? So where's the chord, where's the dominant chord taking us back to F? Well, we know that this is still G minor territory. Oh, here's an E natural. Oh, look, leading tone motion, E to F. And what do you know? I've got a C, E, G chord. That's the dominant of F major. So here's my dominant in F major. I'll plop that right there. And so what we want to figure out is, what's the relationship of the previous chord? Is it going to be a shared chord, which we can think of as a pivot chord, or is it going to contain that chromatic motion that shows that it wasn't shared and instead is an altered chord? So let's go to the previous chord, the chord before the dominant. Let's look at our notes. Think about what the root is of these notes here. We've got a B flat, a G, and a D, and another G. And it turns out that this is a D, B flat, G, or a G, B flat, D chord, otherwise known as, oh my goodness, people, what's going on here? What have I done? There we go. G, B flat, D, right? So G's the root, and that's our chord. And what we want to think is that shared between the two keys? And it is, right? This is a shared chord between the two keys. We've got G, B flat, D, and so it is shared. And since this is a shared chord, we're going to think of it as a pivot chord, right? And so in a pivot chord modulation, where do we put the modulation symbol? We put it before the dominant chord. So if this is the dominant, the pivot goes right before it, right? And so all we have to do is label this chord the way we would in both of these keys, in the old key of G minor and in the new key of F, right? This shouldn't be too tough to label it in G minor. What's a G flat B D chord in G minor? It's 1. And so now, what are we going to call that chord? And it's actually, I should be more specific. It's 1-6. What are we going to call that in F? What's a G, B flat, D chord in F? It's 2-6. And the other way that we can tell that this is a really good pivot chord is that 2-6 goes right to the dominant of the new key, and we are home free in F major, right to our delightful and wonderful cadential 6-4 and that's how you get back. So hopefully that helped to see some differences between analyzing altered chord modulations and pivot chord modulations like this one. And so now you got it.